Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Faiza binti Fauzi. I am going to present about evaluating the antioxidant and anti-aging effects of Phyllanthus niruri. Move to the introduction. Skin is a complex organ and it acts as a physical barrier which protects from the UV ray and disease. Unfortunately, skin condition can negatively affect it. For example, like UVR exposure. Prolonged UVR ray can cause premature aging. As we can see in the diagram, there are three types of UV ray: UVA, UVB, and UVC. UVA has a long wavelength, so it can penetrate the dermis, while UVB has a shorter wavelength and it can only penetrate the epidermis. UVC has the shortest wavelength and it cannot reach the Earth's surface due to the ozone layer blocking, but human can still be exposed. There are two types of skin aging, which intrinsic and extrinsic skin aging. An example of the intrinsic skin aging is reduced in collagen formation, while extrinsic are wrinkle and loss of elasticity. Apart from that, too much reactive oxygen species can cause oxidative stress, which can reduce generation capacity and loss of functional quality. Okay, next we will move to the Phyllanthus niruri, or also known as a dukung anak in Malay. Phyllanthus niruri is a local and widespread in Malaysia. It has medicinal properties, active phytochemical, and have been used in traditional medicine. Even though there are many studies about Phyllanthus niruri, but there's no research about anti-aging activity in their paper. As you can see on the slideshow, table of phytochemical in Phyllanthus niruri. There's none anti-aging in it. Then we move to the problem statement. First problem is Malaysia. Geographical location consistently being exposed to high UV ray, which cause the skin problem to occur. Second, Malaysian buying a lot of skincare product prove that Malaysian have a skin problem, but skincare product contain toxic substance which can cause harm to the consumer. Third is the most of the medical benefit of PN or Phyllanthus niruri are still unknown due to the lack of empirical evidence. Okay, move to the objective. First is to extract the bioactive compound from Phyllanthus niruri using Socklet method with ethanol and isopropanol as the solvent. Second is to determine the total phenolic content and total flavonoid content. Third is to determine the DPPH scavenging activity of Phyllanthus niruri, and lastly is to determine the anti-aging activity of Phyllanthus niruri extract using tyrosinase and elastase assay. This is the overview of all methods being used in this study. In the extraction method, 20 grams of sample will be used in solid apparatus with 250 ml of ethanol and isopropanol under 78 degrees Celsius and 83 degrees Celsius and was performed 16 hours. In TPC, 0.1 ml of extract will be mixed with Folin Q-culture and then add sodium carbonate and incubate at 30 minutes. Final absorbance was measured. In TFC, 0.1 ml of extract were mixed with distilled water, sodium nitrate, and aluminum chloride. Then sodium hydroxide and distilled water were added. Final absorbance was measured. In the PPH assay, ascorbic acid is a positive control, and 0.1 ml extract were prepared in this concentration. The PPH was added, and initial and final absorbance was measured. In tyrosinase inhibition assay, 0.05 ml of extract were mixed with potassium buffer and tyrosinase, and L-dopa was added. Initial and final absorbance was measured. In elastase inhibition assay, 0.025 ml of sample were mixed with the tris HCl buffer and SANA. Then elastase was added. Initial and final absorbance was measured. Next, we move to the statistical analysis. The data was gathered and analyzed in Microsoft Excel, while graphics were generated in Microsoft Excel and GraphPad Prism. Lastly, to determine for statistical significance, one-way ANOVA with two key multiple comparison tests was applied. Next, move to the result and discussion. For extraction, based on the extraction of Phyllanthus niruri, PNE has a higher yield, which 12.85%, compared to PNI, which 8.85%. This said that sample has a polar compound. PNE was higher because ethanol has a higher polarity, 0.064, compared to isopropanol in PNI, which 0.546. So, polar compound in Phyllanthus niruri dissolve more in more polar solvent compared to less polar solvent. Next, move to the total phenolic content and total flavonoid content. Based on the table, PNE has a higher TPC compared to PNI. Total phenolic compound are biological antioxidants, so an increase in overall phenol content lead to increased antioxidant activity. In contrast, in TFC value in PNI are higher than PNE. Hypothetically, the TPC value should be higher than TFC. However, in this study, TFC value for PNI was higher than TPC value. This could be attributed to a multiple factor such as sample or solvent contamination, causing the TPC assay for PNI sample to be low. Next, move to DPPH assay. There are two graphs show radical scavenging activity of PNE and PNI sample in DPPH. Each point represents the means with standard deviation. The assay was replicated at 3 times. Based on the graph, IC50 of PNE was 0.1974 mg per ml, while PNI was 0.2875 mg per ml. Based on antioxidant properties table, IC50 value for PNE and PNI is considered as weak, so it has a low effective for the inhibition of DPPH. Next, move to the tyrosinase inhibition assay. PNE and PNI were significantly less than the positive control, kojic acid. Besides that, PNE shows significantly higher than PNI. This is because potent tyrosinase inhibitor have a phenolic compound, so higher antioxidant, higher the anti-tyrosinase. Last but not least, PNE and PNI were also significantly less than positive control, quercetin. In contrast, PNE was not significant with PNI. This can be due to low in DPPH assay. Supposedly, phenolic and flavonoid exhibit a dose-dependent anti-elastase effects. Like in phenol, there are catechin, while flavonoid has quercetin. So, as TPC value high, elastase inhibition activity also high. In conclusion, all objectives were successfully achieved. This paper has extracted bioactive compound from Phyllanthus niruri with 12% and 8% respectively for PNE and PNI. Next, PNE had the highest total phenolic content, while PNI had the highest flavonoid content. Other than that, both PNE and PNI exhibit low antioxidant activity based on the DPPH radical scavenging assay. And lastly, both PNE and PNI could inhibit tyrosinase and elastase at a lower level compared to the positive control. Finally, recommendation for the future research on Phyllanthus niruri is they can use a different method for the extraction of bioactive compound like hydrodistillation. Second, the sample from extraction of Phyllanthus niruri can be tested in the cell or animal to observe the direct effect of antioxidant and anti-aging. This is my reference and thank you for your attention.